Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to talk about coin grading, one of everyone's favorite topics. And today we're going to talk about a series of coins, the Walking Liberty half dollar. And one of the things that's fun is I'm starting with the third side of the coin, which actually, you can learn a lot from. Usually if you got a roll of coins and you can look at the edge and see just kind of how nice they are, you can almost grade by the edge. Little known fact, we're not going to get down into my silly ideas okay, all my ideas are silly ideas, but we're going to go ahead and look at coins first from a distance, and then I'm going to take a look and see if I can really show you kind of some of the details to look into for going from an extra fine to an AU to a mint state, because on Walking Liberty half dollars, it is a little bit tricky. I'm not going to lie, especially in those grades from mint state down to extra fine, trying to find the difference in the coins. It ain't always easy. And so one of the things that I actually like to do is look at the coins first from a distance to be able to tell. Now, when I say from a distance, mind you, not exactly where I've got the camera here, so I'm going to say just a little bit closer than that. But at a quick glance, what I'm looking for on these coins is to see what percentage of the luster is left there on the coin. And so as I throw a bunch of coins together, what you'll start to see as they come together here is areas where the luster starts to dissipate are going to be first in the open fields. And so whereas on this coin here you see all of the luster moving the whole way through here, and then you look over here, you see how it's a little more dull in that area? This one's a little closer to the one here, but it still has some dull spots. So this can be misleading just looking at the overall luster, because you can run into coins that have, a heavy amount of toning to them or tarnish, and that may affect what you're looking at. But I do like to get this 100-foot view first. I think being a coin dealer kind of makes you learn some shortcuts, because when you buy collections and you've got to be able to make decisions in a timely fashion, it kind of affects everything. So as I go through these, what I'm going to do real quick now is I'm going to do kind of like the 100-foot view, rapid grading here, and put coins in different piles based on their overall 1,000-foot view, whether or not they have a decent amount of luster, full luster. Let's see here. I know, faster, Ben, faster. Gotta go faster. That's it. This is, there's grading companies that need me to grade these faster than this. So you can start to see, I think maybe you can start to see, as I'm going from left to right here, the coins that are going to be a little bit more wear, less luster, to the ones that look like they have the most luster. So that's kind of like my categories as I'm going through here. And I haven't even really clearly defined anything yet. And so this is always one of my grading tips, is you don't actually need to define exact grading necessarily to start with when you're learning how to grade. What you're starting to do is you're starting to make one thing relative to another. So that's that training your eye and your grading experience overall. You're really just trying to find out, what's kind of the normative look for the coin, what's the primacy, what did the coin look like when it was first struck, and this will affect everything. You're just doing it comparatively, and that's actually what coin grading is. It's just a comparison. And one of the things that you'll learn that of course affected, I already mentioned toning. So like for example, this has a real yellow tone to it. And so that is something that's going to be, can kind of mislead a little bit. And also another thing that we're going to talk about is strike, because undoubtedly you're going to have coins here that have pretty broad strike differentials. So I got a few more. Let's grab these here. That's actually, so like that coin has a lot of luster underneath the toning. Yeah, that one I might have wanted to put one over, but let's see here. Yeah, this guy's got a lot of toning, but also I think he's got a lot of wear. This guy's actually give him his own pile, really. So now what we're going to do is going to take a closer look at them and just see what the details start to look like, and that's of course where people really start to split hairs on coins. When you get closer, I'll start with this coin that actually has a majority of its luster gone. So a coin like that's going to be a lower to middle extra fine. So up close you can see that there's no luster flowing over the eagle anymore, and the luster is simply hidden in the crevices, or as I learned recently, crevasses, which no human being has ever said, and now every TV show that has the word says it all the time. Just so much for life imitating art. All right, so as we move along the scale here, we're going to start to see the luster and wear combinations, right? So these two sets here, we're talking about coins that will probably be a lower end AU down to a high end extra fine. So what we're looking at here is actually now you should be able to see, of course, that not only is there full breaks in the luster on the field, but there's actually wear on top of the top part of the coin. The Walking Liberty half is very difficult because there's a high point that is basically like a column that runs all the way up and down here. And that's your high point. And on the eagle also, you've got almost the same thing where you've got this almost like a column right through here. And then this leg is a little high too, but this is really like the highest area is right up here. And then after that, it kind of hits the legs and hits the wingtips. So the toning on this one's going to throw us off a little bit. And after looking closer, I actually might move him to the left one column. Looking past the toning is always a challenge. And then understanding when you're looking at a coin that has a really weak strike. So this coin here is, I was going to say, I actually accidentally caught a glimpse of the mint mark, but I was going to say this coin I think is a San Francisco coin. The San Francisco coins are notoriously soft struck. So you'll have just a flat spot over the entire center of the bird right there. And all the way up and down that column oftentimes is completely flat. And yet oftentimes you'll still have pretty good luster. Let's see if we can move to the right side here and get coins that are a little bit nicer looking that I think would still be AU, would not be uncirculated. I want to see if we can find any coins in here we would call uncirculated. This has a little bit of wear on the chest and the arm and the leg. And once again, it's tricky because honestly, so I got the 10 power here to show you some close-ups, but realize this, that really in grading, you're supposed to only use a 5 power because you run into that thing where you look at something too close and it can actually throw you off because up close, eventually it's like moon rocks. Everything up close gets really hard to tell. So this guy here is getting really close to an actual unk. I mean, I might actually call this guy uncirculated. Once again, one of the things is a coin that is nice and original, like this coin here, is actually sometimes harder to grade. So what happens, especially back in the 90s when everything got dipped, this is the type of coin that someone would dip right away because it would remove that dark spot over the center column, and that would let people know it's definitely uncirculated. The other tricky thing for me about Walking Liberty half dollars is that the reverse is almost always looks a point or two higher in grade than the obverse. And so sometimes to establish whether a coin's uncirculated or not, it's almost like you got to look. I mean, always you got to look at both sides. Now I'm curious if this would come back a 60 or 61 versus like a 58. And then I've got a few coins over here that are really full BU coins. Looking at these reminds me a little bit of looking at proof coins, just because I'm thinking about the overall surface quality on a coin. So this coin here, I would say more obviously, although it has nice original tone, full luster, to me this more obviously has a touch of wear across the top. And once again, it becomes very difficult. I know some people don't like just how much I talk about luster, but really when you're looking at something, that's almost like the microscopic level at which you're seeing the details of the coin's strike, right? So because you can't always tell from the actual details that are left on the coin. See, and now once again, after I look closer at that coin, I'm like, man, I wanna put that in my uncirculated column. So let's look at a coin that is fully lustrous. Also, unfortunately, probably has a touch of PVC to it. That's making me sad right now because that coin's lovely. So you can see now you've got just an absolute luster bomb on this coin. So let's look again here at the detail, and what you'll see is that to a certain extent, let's just look at this. I'm going to pull out the, so this one's a 46S. Decent strike. I've got a S-Mint that's uncirculated that has just a flat strike. So, but you can see the difference in quality overall from this 46S from the previous coins, where it's like there's just no doubt in your mind that it's uncirculated. And when you're looking at raw coins or maybe going to purchase something, I think at the end of the day, a little bit like a referee making a call, you want him to make a call that's obvious, like, oh, yeah, well, that's definitely uncirculated. If you're looking at coins and you're like not sure if it's uncirculated, then don't buy it as uncirculated. Like if you look at it, and once you put these two next to each other, it's like, oh, okay, well, this is definitely BU, and this is, I'm going to call that a slider. I'm going to call that an AU. I'm not going to call that uncirculated. Now let's look at the strike on a coin that is fully lustrous and just flat like a pancake. Look at the lack of detail in this leg. It's just gone down the middle of the bird there. This one here, what do we got, a 40S? Yeah, 40S's, 41S's, but 40S is especially flatly struck coin. The arm is gone. There's no design element in the dress, but that is an uncirculated coin as struck. And as with any series, this will throw you off when you're collecting. And it takes a lot of time to get used to the different series and just kind of what an uncirculated coin looks like, but what the strike does versus what is where. And that's why I harp on luster when I talk about it, because that's kind of like the last clue to let you know whether or not a coin is uncirculated. So your AU58s really should look like uncirculated coins, but just have a touch of wear to them. Your AU55 coins also, so you want to go from like 98% luster to like 90% luster. So I pull from this column, I'm seeing coins that maybe I would have put, like this coin I probably would have put over a column. I kind of punished it because of the dark mark on the chest there, but overall that's probably another 58. What's fun about the Walking Liberty set is people would put together what's known as the short set. So they just said, you know what, we're just going to collect the coins from the 40s, so 1941 to 1947. And most of the coins that you see that are going to be, obviously XF45 type coins to AU50 type coins, you can usually pick up for 15 to 20 bucks. AU58s will be like 20 to 30 bucks on most dates. And then you get into, you only have a handful of coins to collect in the 40s, and it's affordable and it's doable. And you can even put together a raw uncirculated set still. So this guy has a little bit more wear than I first thought when I glanced at him. He'd probably be closer to that 45 type coin. Definitely has a little bit more wear to it. So if you collected Walking Liberty half dollars, tell me some of your favorite pointers on these guys and just what you look for. Once again, you can just see the elements of design and beauty that went into some of our favorite coins that we've collected. The nostalgia is there because a lot of people grew up with it, and then that was passed on to the generation after it. But I think objectively, even that 1916 series of coins that was produced, these Walking Liberty halves, first year was produced in 1916. And there's just something about them that really has a lovely look, and something that something that is a fun area to collect. And even if you just want to have one, get yourself a really nice high-grade certified one and go from there. So anyways, guys, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about Walking Liberty half dollars and some of your favorite grading tips. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.